What's good, YouTube? My name is Alex, and this is True to Football and True to You. Today I'm gonna bring you my Week 17 preview, but first of all, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and an early Happy New Year to you all, you guys. Make sure you enjoy your holidays, enjoy your time with your family back at home, and make sure you enjoy that last week of NFL football. I mean, if your team won't make the playoffs, you won't see them for the next, let's say, 8 months. So, make sure it's a great week, you enjoy your time, and let's take a quick look back at last week. Terrible week. Sorry again. I should have stick with my initial opinion on the Seattle game. If you check back my video last week, I was about to pick Arizona. Similar with the Colts, not as committed to that one though. But again, I had the thoughts. Disappointed by the Miami game, definitely. They should have put a better effort out there. Same with the Ravens. I mean, again, I went with the Ravens. I just got totally disappointed. And also the Bears. I mean, I didn't know why the Bears were that bad last week. Still haven't figured out that yet. But this week I'm going to play like try to predict the icing on the cake. Really going balls deep, all in with these picks. Let's start it out with Panthers against Falcons. That's no upset. Panthers will win. In my opinion, they can take care of business. They will take care of the clock with their offense. They will just control the game with their defense. I think they're just overall a lot better right now. They have better matchups and they won't let it slip. They have the mentality to win their ball game, to win their division. Ron Rivera, Cam Newton, Luke Kuechly, these guys turned their franchise around. Let's not kid ourselves. These guys are great. So I don't think they will lose that game this week. Would actually shock me, even though it's Falcons and the Falcons play good at home, but Panthers are still a lot better than the Falcons. Next game, Redskins against Giants. There it already is. First upset of the week. I'm picking the Redskins here. Giants and Redskins both have less to play for, really. Giants are hurt. I mean, their team, that win last week, it was a gifted win. The Lions should have won that game, obviously. They just kinda blew it away. I mean, Lions the last 2 weeks. How can you let your playoff hopes really... I mean, they really killed themselves. It's not like other teams, had a huge impact. They just failed on their own. I mean, it's just terrible. Let's not talk about the Lions. Let's talk about the Giants. The Giants on offense, in my opinion, won't have individual matchups to take advantage of. You will see a lot of Carroll Jernigan again, and you will have a lot of these Redskins defensive backs having an easy day against Eli Manning, picking off passes. And I think the Redskins linebacker core will do a great job taking out the run game for the Giants. I just think this Redskins defense, even if it's on the road, will control that ball game. It's London Fletcher's last game, so he will put his A game out there, I believe, and his teammates will help him. It's a special game, if you mind, for this Redskins defense, in my opinion. So, and again, Kirk Cousins and his offense, they look better over the last 2 weeks. Nothing to go against the Washington Redskins, in my opinion. Initially, I believe I picked the Giants, but then I said, even the Redskins offense right now is better than the Giants, and they still have a good running game with Morris. It's just like, they haven't put on really the turbo yet to really get going. Rarely you see a 100-yard performance by anybody beside of Garcon. So, I believe this week will happen. Redskins will win their last game of the season. Browns against Steelers. Browns, one-dimensional offense. Steelers will take care of business. They still can make the playoffs and actually like their chances. Even though all three teams have to lose, the Steelers can make it to the playoffs yet. Still. Again, Browns are one-dimensional. They have no run game. I don't even think they really want to win that ball game. They can get a lot better draft pick if they lose, and they still get that Indianapolis pick from Trent Richardson. So the Browns are really heading in a good direction. They can try some things out on offense. It's still like a one-dimensional offense with an average quarterback, Jason Campbell. Let's not kid ourselves. These guys won't put up many points. Also, I like Ike Taylor against Josh Gordon. This is a good matchup for the Steelers defense. I think the Steelers will take care of business, really hold these Browns offense to like 10 points at most or so. So, again, I think the Steelers will win. And if all these three teams lose, Miami, Baltimore, and San Diego, they're like, we did our job well. If these guys, some of these wins, we couldn't do against it. We turned our season around late. It was a great comeback effort by the Steelers. It wasn't meant to happen. The Steelers really played a good second half of their season. So they have nothing to be, down for. Steelers obviously played good. Texans against Titans. Yeah, I mean, both teams are so bad this year. The Titans could have won a lot more games, in my opinion. They have really a lot of firepower on offense, but the Jake Locker injury really hurt this team. Fitzpatrick is up and down. I'm sorry, I'm not knowing what's going on. And the Texans on offense have absolutely nothing going on. I was very disappointed with the loss against the Colts. You gotta wonder what happened. Can you blame it all on Arian Foster's injury? I don't think so. You know, it's different for them right now. It's a different situation. No run-first offense right now, and this O-line is also not playing as good as they normally are. I think they have one of the best O-lines in the league, but whatever. The Titans have enough firepower on offense to beat this Texans defense, and on the other side, I don't trust this Texans offense anymore. I think you don't know what you will get. Matchup is not a good quarterback. I think the Texans will take off business, win the last game at home. Lions against the Vikings, that's another game. You don't know what you will get. Meaningless game. Lions against the Vikings, it's like two bad secondaries. Actually, two offenses that can pass the ball. We saw it against the Eagles. The Vikings can do it. Cordero Patterson, Greg Jennings, Kyle Rudolph, even though he's injured. It's a good game, I believe. You will see a great game, but since it's meaningless, it will be very disappointing for the Lions. But what I like is the Lions' run defense against the Vikings' run game. So I think if the Lions can, get the Vikings to play not the game they want to play, and kind of keep the game a little bit low scoring, I believe the Lions will win this ball game just simply because they are better, and you will have to do a lot of mistakes really again to lose to the Vikings. You saw what happened last week. The Vikings got absolutely blown out, so a lot of bad stuff for the Lions has to happen, but it's not impossible. The Lions can do pretty much everything. Jets against the offense. You look at the Dolphins. They already could have clinched the division, not the division, the wild card last week. Now it's these games. These teams played each other, I believe, 4 weeks ago or 5. I'm not sure actually, but it was 19-3 or so, and really they hold them to 3 points. So again, the task for your defense is to kind of really hold them to less points, and it's really like they have no playmakers on offense. I'm talking about the Jets. So your only task is to stop these guys, to make it easier for your offense to win that ball game somehow, even though they scored 0 points last week against the Bills. It's not a tough test right now. I mean, it's really less you ask for to make it to the playoffs. So they have such an easy task, in my opinion, to make it to the playoffs. You have to go after the Dolphins. It's all about that guy Chris Ivory for the Jets. Even with Geno Smith, he has up and down games, but always when Chris Ivory has a good game, Geno Smith has a better game, and these guys are just in rhythm on offense. So if you take out the run game, it's already done for the Dolphins. In my opinion, they should win that ball game. Ravens against Bengals. Bengals are by far the better team. They already clinched the division, and they're one of the most talented young teams in the AFC. You saw what they did to the Vikings. They have a lot of depth on offense and on defense. These guys, Vontaze Burfict, Winston Ray, it's not exactly they came out of nowhere, but these guys are really great, and they don't have Geno Atkins, their best player on defense. So you see still a good defense, meaning you have a lot of depth. Next guy up mentality, it works for the Bengals. And that guy Giovanni Bernard, it's a playmaker. These guys are really a playmaking offense. You can slow them down because it's not like they're very consistent. They're always good for a big play and for some surprising games, but it's not like they will dominate you like the Broncos, for example. But against the Ravens, I think the Ravens are already they are down. It's over for the Ravens. I'm not saying they have already given up, but the way they play these games, not using Ray Rice, they're not in their own game plan. I believe they're playing the opponent's game plan. Nothing is going on, and the Ravens defense really has let down as well. You may like Webb against AJ Green, but still the Bengals have too much firepower on offense to let that game slip at home. I don't think the Ravens' last gasp will be enough to beat the Bengals. Jaguars against Colts, that's even more easier. Colts will win, too much firepower on offense. Andrew Luck, T.Y. Hilton, Derrick Rogers, I like this guy a lot coming out of college. I believe he got waived by the Bills, and the Colts picked him up because they have wide receiver needs. Yeah, Rich Wayne out, they can pretty much use anybody. But if you check back on Derrick Rodgers, he basically was about to be a first-round pick at Tennessee. Then, you know, he got transferred to Tennessee Tech. You know, again, off-the-field issues. But you have to take a closer look at these guys. What you have there out for the Colts right now is basically a first-round pick wide receiver. It's just like you have another, not comparing him to Dez Bryant, but, you know, with the off-the-field issues, a guy, you know what you will get. And to get a guy like him from waivers, big move for the Colts. He's really giving their offense a lot more to play with. And Donald Brown also, good game. So usually the Colts have the firepower on offense, and against the Jaguars offense who makes mistakes against everybody, it's almost impossible for the Colts to lose. Next game, Rams against Seahawks. I'm not going with the upset here, even though I like the Rams. The Rams have that ground game, and I think it will be taken away by the Seahawks, and therefore you have a low-scoring offense with the Rams. I believe not much firepower on offense to go against a very well-balanced Seahawks team who won't lose two in a row at home. That's just basic, in my opinion. They can clinch home field advantage, and they will take care of it no matter what. That's just really my biased thought right now. They won't let that opportunity slip to lose two back-to-back division games at home. No way that's going to happen. So let's move on to next game. I'm sorry. Broncos against Raiders. Best passing game against worst secondary, in my opinion. I think that's already enough to go with the Broncos here. The Broncos also can clinch home field advantage with that game. I mean, the Raiders have something going on with Terrell Pryor, but he's not out there, so I don't think they will have a chance. They have to stick with Terrell Pryor. I think he's a good quarterback. You gotta stick with him. That's just, you know, a side note on that game. 49ers against Cardinals. There you go. Now the upset starts. I'm going with the Cardinals to win against the 49ers. I think the Cardinals are a very underrated team. We don't know if they're clutch yet. So I'm kind of really going high risk on this game. We don't know how Carson Palmer can play against this tough 49ers defense in the clutch. I think they will do a good job, because you saw how they were able to beat the Seahawks defense. And bottom line is their defense. The Cardinals have, I believe, they have the best run defense. I'm 100% sure they have the best run defense in the league. They have a very difficult front to play against, and that guy Darrell Washington, he's really key. He's a very, very underrated linebacker, very athletic guy. They have no speed issues. You know, they always can contain a play. They have a outstanding front seven, you want to say, and, you know, very athletic defensive backs. So I think they're really one of the only teams to really slow down that 49ers run game. I mean, they're really one of the onlyest, very few, I mean, maybe a couple more teams, but maybe the 49ers themselves, because they also have great run defense. But whenever the 49ers game plan gets, you know, really shaken up, like they want to run it, they are a run first team, heavy run, but the Cardinals can match that, and I think that will be the key point to make the 49ers lose. Whenever they can run their game plan, the 49ers are a good offense, they take care of business, their defense does take care of the rest, they win that ball game. I think this game it will be different. Cardinals, especially at home, their defense plays awesome at home. I think they will just completely take care of this 49ers offense and win the ball game. That's just bottom line. I think this 49ers team won't have much to say against this Cardinals defense. Next game, Kansas City against the San Diego Chargers. Chiefs against Chargers. I'm going with the Chargers just simply because I heard Andy Reid thinks about playing backups, because this game has really nothing going on for the Chiefs. They already know what they will be in the playoffs, and the Chargers still can make it to the playoffs, have home field advantage, and they already have beaten the Chiefs this year. So with the firepower and offense for the Chargers, I believe, since the Chiefs really have to get healthy on defense, I think they won't risk anything. I think the Chargers will get easier matchups, and, you know, they will score. On the other side, I don't think you will see a lot of Jamal Charles this game. So I think there won't be many points scored by the Chiefs. So I think the Chargers eventually can outscore the Chiefs at home and win that ball game to stay in the playoff race. But again, that's another upset, right? So, and here comes the next one. Bills against Patriots. I'm going with the Bills. Patriots have a terrible run defense. How do they manage to be fourth last if it's about run defense when you have Tom Brady and this offense always having the ball, you gotta be doing something wrong, because teams shouldn't be allowed to run that much, because they have to keep track, they have to keep pace, you know, score on offense. So normally you won't see many run plays, but somehow they give up a lot of yards. So if you face a team like the Bills, who have a double punch backfield, in my opinion, they got always the double punch with Fred Jackson and CJ Spiller. Both guys are very versatile, you can use them in different ways, so you will see a lot of run plays from the Bills. I think they can control the game with them, minimize time of possession for the Patriots. And the Patriots don't have a high firepower offense anymore without Gronk. You know, Amendola is still kind of shaking up a little bit. You only have Amendola, he's going to on every second play. You see this Patriots offense doesn't have much to offer. I think guys like Stephon Gilmore will take advantage of the matchups they get on outside, and linebackers like Kiko Alonso, you know, they will take care of the middle. The Bills actually have a pretty good turnover defense, and these Patriots wide receivers, I think they will make mistakes this game, and it will be another game where Tom Brady will look helpless, won't have many chances, and the rare chances he will get to win the ball game, some guys will make mistakes. I think the Bills can definitely win that ball game, and you know, that way the Patriots lose, and they may slip out of that first round bye week. That's what I'm predicting to happen. Next matchup, Buccaneers against Saints, and look, I'm going with the Buccaneers. That's the next upset. Why? You gotta look at the Buccaneers offense. If you check back on the last few weeks, the Buccaneers haven't lost more games than the Saints. It's a 4-11 team, but over the last 2 weeks the Saints didn't play that good. So, you know, the offense is struggling a little bit, and you get matchups like Darrelle Revis on the outside against Colts and Stills. You know, I mean, the Buccaneers are not that bad of a defense, to be honest. And they're really good enough, fast enough on defense to contain that Darren Sproles. So you can take elements out of their game. It's just about who will stop Jimmy Graham. You know that the Saints still will score points on offense. But I actually like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to outscore the Saints defense, because the Saints defense ain't that good. They will have good matchups with Bobby Rainey. I think Bobby Rainey will have a good game this week. He will make some plays. And Mike Lennon, he struggled against, you know, tough defenses a little bit, but still they stayed in ball games. You look at last week. Somehow the Buccaneers really played better than the record shows. I mean, they have been terrible over the first part of the season, but that was a lot of Josh Freeman. So the record kind of fools you a little bit. I think this Buccaneers offense is a lot to handle for the Saints defense. Vincent Jackson's that guy, Timothy Wright, you know, I mean, he has the chemistry with all these guys, and I think Bobby Rainey gets good matchups this week. I don't expect this Buccaneers offense to be stopped that much. I think it will be a high-scoring ball game, and don't mind these Saints to make some mistakes again on offense, even though it's at home. They definitely can have their playoffs slip away, in my opinion. It's definitely possible. That's a huge upset. That's the most risky upset, because that basically means the Saints will miss the playoffs. But I'm predicting that. I think I'm going all in on these picks. It's very unlikely, but I think it can happen, and I'm really going with the upset again this week because I like the chances. And the next upset already coming, Packers against Bears. I'm going with the Packers. No matter what, Aaron Rodgers will play. That's just my opinion. If Matt Flynn plays, I will change that pick. No way they're going to win with Matt Flynn. Bears will bounce back. It's at home for the Bears, so they really have to have a great game, in my opinion, because when Aaron Rodgers plays, this will be an offensive shoutout no matter what weather. I think Eddie Lacy will be healthy enough to play. Obviously the Packers rely on Eddie Lacy, Clay Matthews and Aaron Rodgers to be back. If these guys are all back, I think the Packers will win. Especially without Aaron Rodgers, I think the Packers will have a tough time beating the Bears. Bears still have to bounce back. You still have them to kind of get back on track, get their offense back scoring, and the defense, at least get some stuffs. But still, I think if Aaron Rodgers is back, the Packers will be the better team. They will take care of business. You know that offense, they can score points, especially with Aaron Rodgers. So I think the Packers will make it to the playoffs, because that's, as well as the Eagles-Cowboys game, a winner-go-home game. Two of these games this season, very interesting, week 17. Next game, Eagles against Cowboys. Cowboys have home field advantage, and that's, in my opinion, huge. That's incredible huge, because the Cowboys this year really at home are a different team, in my opinion. They play a good defense at home, and they really have to have that defense on track. Sean Lee may be back. I think he's one of these guys. He will be back even if he's not 100% ready. He will do enough for this defense to stop LeSean McCoy, because that is huge. They have to stop LeSean McCoy. But you look at when these teams met the first time this season, they were able to stop LeSean McCoy. It was not like LeSean damaged them and had like 200 yards. No, they could contain him. They did a solid job against them, and they hold them to like, I believe, 3 points or so. I'm not sure right now, but very less points. And the Cowboys offense, even with Kyle Orton, are a good offense, because Kyle Orton, that's why I signed him for. Expensive backup quarterback, I believe the most expensive backup quarterback. Since the Cowboys like to spend money on their quarterback. Yeah, Tony Romo, little overpaid quarterback, but even Romo, he still can play. I said it before, he's a very tough quarterback. He played through so many injuries in his career. If you remember the broken ribs against the 49ers, he came back that game, left them, and all the games after that, he played with broken ribs. He's just a guy. Even last week, injured his earlier, played through the entire first quarter, won them the game. Yeah, you don't say he's clutch, but whenever he gets the help and he gets his matchups, whenever his O-line blocks well for him, whenever they find ways to beat the blitz, whenever Romo is comfortable, he will do so much damage, because he really can be a clutch quarterback. Even he has one of the best comeback quarterback ratings, like fourth quarter late drives. He's actually pretty good, but when it comes down to week 17, he hasn't proven anything. So you're right, you may go with the Eagles here, but I think the Cowboys secondary will do a solid job against the Eagles. Again, it's a divisional matchup. Cowboys are 5-0 in their division. They only won 3 games outside their division, but they are unbeaten in the division this year, and they have home field advantage. They know how to stop them. Sean Lee may be back. You will even maybe get Justin Durant back. You will get a much healthier defense. Morris Claiborne still unsure, so you may get a lot of guys back. And whoever plays Kyle Orton and Tony Romo, these guys can throw the ball to Dez Bryant, Miles Austin, Jason Witten. The O-line playing outstanding this year, and it's still about DeMarco Murray punishing the Eagles. Eagles have a good run defense, but I don't think they can stop DeMarco Murray. DeMarco Murray is an awesome back. Huge fan of him, from the Oklahoma Sooners to the Dallas Cowboys. A really huge fan of this guy. I think the Cowboys, it's a week 17 game again, but I love how they lost to the Packers earlier, because they could change something. And I think it's really a game a lot of decisions will be made on. If they lose, for the third time in a row, they will miss the playoffs. First to the Giants in week 17, then to the Redskins in week 17, and then to the Eagles in 17. A lot of Cowboys haters could be loving that scenario, obviously. I mean, they would be very happy if the Cowboys lose again. And believe me, Jerry Jones won't be happy. Changes will be made. Jason Garrett's job is far from secure. Believe me that. It's really a game where so much on line for the Dallas Cowboys, and we have enough guys on the offense right now to beat that Philadelphia squad. It's not that good of a defense. We saw against the Vikings. So I think we will take care of matchups we get. We will take care of pretty much the game plan we get, and we will win that ball game. It should be a very interesting ball game. Can't wait to watch that one. I will be hyped as fuck this Sunday. I'm sorry, but again, I like the Cowboys' chances here to break the tendency. But I understand if you go with the Eagles. Cowboys haven't shown anything week 17 to make you trust the Cowboys. But again, so that's all my picks. Hope you liked it. Again, happy holidays to all you guys. Share your comments, your thoughts on my picks. I'm going all in on these picks, really. I believe 5, 7, 6, something like that, upsets this week. So make sure you have a great week and enjoy your last week of regular season football. Holla back at your boy.